Hello and welcome from Motors TV for round 2 of the Maserati Trofeo World Series 2015. After the first stage a few weeks ago at the Paul Ricard circuit in France, we travel here to the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the second meeting of the season. All 23 competitors take to this track, a track hampered by wet weather conditions throughout the weekend. Set in the rolling countryside and surrounded by a mountainous backdrop, it's time to take you round the Red Bull Ring with the help of one of the most iconic Maserati racing drivers, Michael Bartels.
Hi, I'm Michael Bartels and I would like to welcome you and invite you to one lap on the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the second round of the Maserati World Series. Okay, let's start on the lap for the Red Bull Grand Prix circuit. We are here now on the start and finish line and we are reaching under these wet conditions, as you can see on the windscreen, the fourth gear around 200 kilometers. The first corner is very tight and very slippery. Second gear, now we are shifting up to third gear, fourth gear, and it's coming now a small left corner which is flat out with the Maserati Trofeo. And now again hard braking from fourth gear down into second gear. Very slow corner. Second gear, low level of grip because also of the wet conditions. Now shifting up to third gear and fourth gear down to the Schönberg straight, and we are coming now to the top speed with 235 kilometers. You see here braking on the right side to find a little bit more grip. Then down to second gear, right corner, acceleration up to third gear. Very difficult because the rear end of the car is very loose. Now we stay in third gear for the left corner. The corner is a medium speed corner. You are seeing the coming in the rain conditions from the outside to the inside. Small acceleration to the next left corner, medium speed corner again, third gear. Coming again from the outside to the inside. Now you see there was a little bump which upsets the car under the wet condition. Then going a little bit up over this little bump. Fourth gear, down to third gear, very slippery corner. Also again away from the perfect line, a little bit outside. And now we are on the last corner to the start and finish line, second gear, very slippery again with these conditions. And now we are coming back to the start and finish line. And when it was a good lap in these conditions, it was 1:55. Thank you and have fun and enjoy the Maserati World Series at Red Bull Ring.
And now it's time to find out a bit more about the Gran Turismo MC Trofeo with Romain Monti, who impressed in the second race at the Paul Ricard, the first round of the season. Romain, tell us a bit about the car, the power-to-weight ratio, the pleasure you take in driving this car. Well, it's a car which has evolved over time by Maserati. They have a long history. This car originates from the Gran Turismo MC Stradale, which has been slimmed down and prepped for this particular race. We're talking about a 500 horsepower for a weight just under 1,400 kilos. We don't get any help from the car at all, so it's all about pure racing driving. There's a sequential gearbox with a sport feel to it. A sporty feel, especially given the conditions of the track at the Red Bull Ring this weekend. You don't have any help, and that can't be easy on a wet track. Especially to get a feel of the motor, whatever you're doing, using the brake or overshooting the engine, you need to be very careful because it's very dangerous out there. So here we are, the interior of the car. Just like any car, there's a steering wheel, but this one has paddle shifters to go up and down in gear. So it's a sequential gearbox. Another thing which is special about the car is that there's no clutch, seeing as it's an F1 gearbox. So all we have is an accelerator pedal and a brake pedal. You can either brake with your left foot or your right foot, whatever you prefer. On the wheel itself, there are various buttons. This yellow button is to control the pit limit, which applies the maximum speed limit on the car. There's a little flash button. That's if you're racing faster than the cars in front of you. It flashes the lights so they can see you in their mirrors. There's a button for the radio to talk to the mechanic back in the pits. Away from the steering wheel, there's plenty of information available on the central console here. It's here that we start the car, to put power through the car through the hand or ignition. Then once those two buttons have been pressed, you can start the car using start. Here we have a little dial to alter the brake distribution, which can be changed throughout the race, say in tune with the changing weather conditions. If it starts to rain, if the rain gets heavier, or if the track starts to dry up, you can choose to apply more brakes on the front wheels or on the back ones. In the rainy conditions we have at the moment, it would be best to put more on the back. Then over here we have the indicators, headlights, windscreen wipers, and that's all the central console. So to the first big event of the weekend for Romain Monti and his opponents. It's the Super Pole, which will see the 10 best drivers qualify for the top positions. A special event taking place on this waterlogged track. It was testing challenge for all, but one which brought a newcomer to the spotlight, Spanish racer Martinez. Behind the wheel of car number 11, Martinez clocked up a time of 1 minute 55 and 29, leading his closest rival Frenchman Romain Monti by more than 2.7 seconds. Here we are on the grid for the first race of the Maserati Trofeo at the Red Bull Ring. With the rain falling, let's head over to the man on pole, the Spaniard, Martinez.
On va aller faire un tour du côté du poleman, Marcos Martinez, le pilote espagnol. Marcos, your first pole position for your first race here in Maserati. Did you expect that?
No, I'm really excited because my first race in Trofeo Maserati, like you say, my first race in Red Bull Ring. I love the circuit, I love the track, I love the car, and yeah, I'm very happy. But we have to finish the race with no contacts, no spinning, no nothing. The weather is absolutely difficult, and we will see.
Thanks a lot, Marcos. On va repartir
now
du côté
let's head to the
de la
second
deuxième
possession
place
on the
sur
grid
cette
to have a
grille
word with the
département
French driver Romain Monti,
Romain Monti qui
who
nous a
talked
fait
us through the
découvrir,
Maserati Trofeo.
Maserati Trofeo. On va
We'll
aller,
go and ask him a
lui poser
question or
quelques
two.
questions.
Romain, who is
Romain
second
Monti,
alongside
lui qui
Marcos
sera donc
Martinez.
sur cette première ligne aux côtés de Marcos Martinez.
It's not his first race, he won it of course at Castellet. Romain, a quick word on the race conditions here. You've done a couple of test laps of the track to work out the state of it. It will be very complicated. There are various parts of the track where we'll get some aquaplaning, so great care will have to be taken. We're now on the second row of the grid, and with another newcomer, a Swede, it's Frederik Blomstedt.
Frederik, it's your first race here in Maserati Trofeo. What about your position? Second line on the grid is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it feels very good. Just that was quite big gap between my time and the first time, so I still need to push quite hard to get where he is. But I think for the position is quite good.
So the formation lap here in the very waterlogged conditions at the Red Bull Ring. Two Frenchmen, Stephane Panepinto and of course Romain Monti, who talked us through the track. As the cars really start to get used to these conditions, they're going to have to take care, as Romain Monti explained before the beginning of the race. The safety car starting due to these track conditions, leading the race here at the beginning. So plenty of water here, obviously that will distract the drivers. The windscreen wipers on show as well. And here we are inside the race car number 4, the Frenchman Stephane Panepinto. Moving ahead of Mauro Trentin, the Italian. Obviously, remember the start began with that safety car. You see him pulling back ahead now. And here we are at the start, the leading pace of this race. Between those two, the Frenchman and the Swede, who we saw at the beginning of the match, at the beginning of the race rather. Romain Monti. And the Swede Frederik Blomstedt. As you can see, a much slower racing line there due to the wet weather conditions. Romain Monti trying to keep up there with the Swede Frederik Blomstedt. Martinez though, the Spaniard. Leading with more than 8 seconds, the Spaniard Martinez. Over number 6, the Frederik Blomstedt. Both of those race drivers, debutants here at the Red Bull Ring. Just looking at the rain hitting against the windscreen, really hampering the drivers there. Oh, and there has been a spin there. Hitting against the bar as well. And it's the Australian Richard Denny who has to pull out there as well. Just lap 5 and he's hit the wall already. Doesn't look like he'll be able to continue. Here we are on board number 33, Angelique de Tavernier, the Belgian, who has spun out as well, right onto the gravel bed. He will be able to get back on the track though. And here we are with Stephane Panepinto. Now at the start of the game, Panepinto had overtaken before the start line, so here he is pulling into the pit lane for his penalty. Overtaking under a yellow, of course, due to the safety car, which was at the beginning of the race. Martinez confirming there the 8-second lead he has on second place Frederik Blomstedt. Both of them making their debut in the championship, remember. Behind them is the Frenchman Romain Monti. Here he is in second place, Frederik Blomstedt. Eight seconds behind the leader, the Spaniard Martinez, but he's got a fair lead over third place of Romain Monti as well. You just see on our screens here. Well, the drivers will, of course, start to get used to these driving conditions. Further back down in the race as the fight for 7th place. Three cars very close to each other. Fascicolo, Mauro Trentin, just behind Lino Curti. All three Italians, and a bit of spin there at the front from Giuseppe Fascicolo. He loses a place and possibly even two here. And there he is, Fascicolo, who spun out number 7. He has dropped down to 8th. He was leading that pack in that race for 7th. Cordoni in the blue car, the number 60, trying to reclaim that 7th position as well. Oh, and another car there onto the gravel. And it was the pressure from Cordoni in that blue car. And Mario Trentin, the Italian. Well, here he is, Mario Cordoni. There were those three cars all battling for position. And he's really come in, taken advantage and taken the places from them. So Mario Trentin loses a place as well. Back with the Frenchman Stephane Panepinto. Proof there of the conditions. Managed to sort it out himself. Nearly spun out, but no, he managed to keep control of it. Back with Giuseppe Fascicolo. It was he who spun out. So Martinez leads. But there's Barry Baxter, another driver who's had to retire here. So the Spaniard Marcos Martinez still leading, lap 12. And Frederik Blomstedt, who was second just behind Martinez, goes off in a straight line. The weather conditions are really hampering everyone here. Marcos Martinez able to take advantage. He is still in the lead. Blomstedt manages to make it back onto the track, but the red flag has been pulled out here. It was Fascicolo who went straight off into the barriers, and that's it. So it's Martinez who claims the victory here. First win for him in his first race in the championship.
It was one of the most difficult races in all my life. Very tricky circuit, a lot of weight, and the car was sliding all the time. Everybody was spinning around, and I was really lucky to finish without problems. But I'm really happy with everything. Yeah.
I knew it would be a very difficult race. I was overtaken at the start because I was being quite careful with the conditions. Then the racer in front of me crashed. I nearly did the same as him a bit later on because there was so much aquaplaning. So I spun off into the gravel, came back on the track, and I was able to hold on to second place right until the end.
The track was really incredible. The rain was everywhere. In 3 points we have it was a little river across the road. The situation was really tricky, but I'm very happy about the results because it's my first races in Maserati Trofeo, and I'm really happy.
So Martinez, the debutant, finishes first at the end of that first race ahead of Romain Monti. As you can see, the Maserati Trofeo races have been graced with much milder conditions today on this second round of the competition here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. The track is dry for the first time this weekend. The racers will need to get to grasp with the new conditions then. We're heading over to speak to the man in pole for this second race, Giuseppe Fascicolo, who didn't earn pole but rather inherited it. The starting grid has been inversed from the first 10 leading positions of yesterday's race. Giuseppe Fascicolo won't forget his accident at the end of yesterday's race, one which triggered a red flag. Let's find out how he's getting on.
Giuseppe, how are you after your crash yesterday, and how do you feel starting from pole position?
Thank you. I am okay, thank you.
Okay, starting from pole is okay?
Yes, it's fantastic. I want to win today.
Okay, good luck. Thank you, Giuseppe. Voilà, Giuseppe Fascicolo qui s'élancera
Giuseppe Fascicolo who starts in pole on the grid. Remember, it's an inverted grid. The first 10 races switched over. That's why we can find Stephane Panepinto, the other Frenchman of this Maserati Trofeo. Stephane, the conditions have been completely changed from what you experienced at the start of the weekend. That means you need to learn everything again, the braking points, braking distances. Did those 2 test laps help you out then? So initially what we wanted to do was warm up the tyres and the brakes. I tried to brake a bit later than usual to see how far I could push it and when I needed to brake, but it's something we're going to need to work on to try and find the best braking points. The distances are pretty much the same for everyone. I'd say it's a level playing field. You start off from the front of the grid, seeing as you finished 9th yesterday, and that was mainly down to the drive-through penalty. How were you preparing mentally for the start of the race? Today it's a completely different race. I'm not thinking about yesterday, and I'm not trying to think about today either. You can't ever predict what's going to happen, but overall I'm just trying to create the best case scenario so that I can be in the best possible position for that first braking point. We'll be following that very closely indeed. Thanks a lot, Stephane. Let's travel a bit further back down the grid to the second line. In third place on this second row is Mauro Tretin, who's just here. But we're going to go and see Lino Curti, who starts off in 4th position, just behind the Frenchman Stephane Panepinto. We're going to ask him how he's feeling before the start of the race.
How do you feel before the start of this second race, starting from the second row of the grid?
I feel good. I'm starting in a good position, so I hope that can be a good race.
Ok, thanks a lot Lino, have a good race. Et maintenant on va découvrir bien entendu le reste de la grille de départ de cette deuxième manche du Maserati Trofeo.
To see how this
sur le Red Bull
Maserati Trofeo will start out. So the formation lap here, remember it is an inverted grid. So the first 10 and the last 10 changed around for this race. Giuseppe Fascicolo, who starts in pole on the grid, just ahead of the Frenchman Stephane Panepinto, and here we are, the start of the race. Fascicolo and Stephane Panepinto alongside. Panepinto, remember saying before the race that he really wanted to concentrate on that first, trying to get the best case scenario. And it's Frederik Blomstedt we see there. Remember, he had problems in that first race in the wet weather conditions. Much drier here at the Red Bull Ring. And the two cars there, neck and neck. Stephane Panepinto, who started off in second, dropped that down to fourth, looks to be claiming back second place here. Giuseppe Fascicolo still leads this second race of the Maserati Trofeo. And it looks like Stephane Panepinto will just keep hold of that second place, but it's so tight between them. So Panepinto in second place. The Swede Frederik Blomstedt just behind it, but now he's in fourth place, and it carries on the battle between him and that number 18 car, Lino Curti. Blomstedt pulls back ahead of Curti here. Interchanging positions, the Swede and the Italian. But Blomstedt has other concerns as well, trying to claim second place of Panepinto, and this can only help first place Giuseppe Fascicolo, who is pulling ahead of these three, battling for that second place. Blomstedt just behind Stephane Panepinto here. Will he take advantage on this straight line up ahead the first corner? Maybe he will. Oh, he tries to, and he just clips the back of Stephane Panepinto. He did clip the back of Panepinto's car. Now, Blomstedt, who had taken second place, lost it again to Curti. This battle continues, and he's just taken it back off Curti. Blomstedt in the white car, just ahead of number 18, Lino Curti. And this is where they have to take advantage of these cars. Remember, the wet weather conditions yesterday, they have to get used to these dry ones here. None of these cars having raced in this race here at this venue before either. So it's a steep learning curve. So Blomstedt just ahead of Lino Curti, a spin just behind them, but he manages to keep control of his car. Stephane Panepinto, who lost 5 places when he was clipped by Frederik Blomstedt, trying to claim his place back further up the field. Mario Cordoni, the Italian, just ahead of him. So Frederik Blomstedt, who has aggressively fought his way up the track, is now trying to claim first place. Ahead of Giuseppe Fascicolo, he goes down the inside, the Swede, and he manages to pull ahead. It's Frederik Blomstedt who now leads. Further back down the field, Stephane Panepinto would have wanted to be battling for that first place with Frederik Blomstedt, but he's caught up in this race for 6th place now, along with Mario Cordoni, Diego Romanini, Andreas Segler as well. Stephane Panepinto has been in the wars in this race this afternoon. So Frederik Blomstedt has pulled ahead of Giuseppe Fascicolo. It's still those two who hold the first 2 places. Romain Monti. In the battle himself with Mauro Trenti. And he has managed to overtake the Italian. Fascicolo, who's already been caught and overtaken by Frederik Blomstedt, is now being caught up. And it's Fascicolo who retires here. Having technical issues, he was forced to come back to the pits. It was gearbox problems which forces him to retire. He led for so long at the beginning. And Blomstedt, who took his first place, gets a drive-through penalty here, and that's due to the contact he had with Stephane Panepinto when he clipped the back of his car in lap 3. Comes back on the track in P10 now after his penalty, just behind Carlo Curti, the Italian. So we've seen quite a few leaders in this race so far. But now it's Lino Curti who leads. Remember Giuseppe Fascicolo, who retired. Frederik Blomstedt moving back to 10th place. It's now Curti with Romain Monti and Mauro Trentin in the top 3 places. But Diego Romanini may just change that, looking to overtake Mauro Trentin for that 3rd place. And the battle continues as well. Maserati, Diego Romanini and Andreas Segler battle for that third place. And Diego Romanini looks to pull away. He was even looking to close down Romain Monti here as well. Really pushing hard now, the number 8, Diego Romanini. Looking to close down on Romain Monti in second. That's Lino Curti who leads the race. Segler, remember that battle for third place, it's him who's gone wide. And we're back with Frederik Blomstedt, remember, fighting for first place. He had that drive-through penalty, but he looks to be making quite a big comeback. He dropped back down to 10th place after his drive-through penalty. We're on board with the Swede at the moment. He's now in P6, pushing to fight with Maserati and Andreas Segler. The German Segler in the black car looking to pull ahead himself. And Segler does manage to just go through the inside, but Blomstedt takes advantage, pulls ahead of both cars. So Blomstedt, what a comeback that is, back up now to P4. As Diego Romanini overtakes Romain Monti for P2. So Diego Romanini stuck in between those two cars. And he's not letting go here either. So Romanini in here looks to bail ahead of Lino Curti. Curti with a defensive line manages to hold position round the corner. Romanini will try again, he's not giving up. Romain Monti, the Frenchman just behind the front two, maybe he can take advantage. And guess who's coming up just behind? It's Frederik Blomstedt. And right there, Frederik Blomstedt has managed to climb back all the way up to 4th place. He'll be looking to take 3rd place off Romain Monti. So Lino Curti leads, but there is not too much behind him. Frederik Blomstedt on the attack of Romain Monti. Number 6, the car of Blomstedt. Remember that drive-through penalty. Lino Curti holds 1st place for the moment. Here we are on board with the Swede, Blomstedt. As he looks to pass ahead of Romain Monti. Indeed he does, takes 3rd place ahead of the Frenchman. And he has moved back from 10th place all the way back up to 3rd. And he'll have 1st and 2nd in his sights now, the Swede. his next opponent now, looking to take second place, and he's not slowing down, he's not being patient either. He wants to take second and first as quickly as possible as he looks to pull ahead of Romanini down the inside. And he does. Well, we see it again. As Diego Romanini isn't letting the Swede have his way. Frederik Blomstedt, who moved his way up the pack as quickly as he could. Diego Romanini looking to slow him down. A big fight here for second place. Maybe Lino Curti can take advantage in the red and black car ahead. As Blomstedt tries again down the inside, he's taken him. What a fight this is for second place. Oh, and it's gone out very wide there. And it wasn't the Swede, it was Diego Romanini, the Italian, who continues to lose control. He's hit the barrier. And that's what happens when you fight up against Frederik Blomstedt. The attacking mood the Swede has been in. And the Frenchman has to abandon here. So the safety car out. It's Lino Curti who still leads. Frederik Blomstedt just behind him. You'd expect as soon as the safety car disappears for the Swede Blomstedt to really go for Lino Curti. So here we are, the restart. It's the end of lap 17. We go into lap 18. How many laps will it take for the Swede to take first place back? Will he have to worry about what's going on behind him as well? Romain Monti in third place behind the Swede. Andreas Segler as well. But the Frenchman, Romain Monti, isn't too far behind Blomstedt. So Romain Monti looking to take the place of Frederik Blomstedt, but not for too long if Blomstedt has his way with Lino Curti. Looking to go around the outside, surely not. Curti defends his line, goes out a bit wide as well. He's had a big battle to try and keep first place, Lino Curti, but he hasn't managed it here. And you'd have to say that was quite expected, the aggressive way that Frederik Blomstedt was racing to move back up from 10th place after that drive-through penalty. Blomstedt now leads. Romain Monti in third. Maybe he will take advantage. Yes, he does. Pull ahead of Lino Curti. Blomstedt, so used to overtaking cars, he won't have anyone to overtake. He pulls ahead, but no. He has been overtaken. Technical problems there mean that Romain Monti out of nowhere now leads the race. Blomstedt, who's had a roller coaster of a race here, has been forced to retire. So Romain Monti leads, Curti just behind him. So many different leaders we've had in this race, but it looks like Romain Monti may take the lead. He does. Romain Monti wins the race here. Second victory since the start of the season. Ahead of Lino Curti and Andreas Segler, who make up the podium. It was very, very tight indeed. I was quite careful at the start, having finished second yesterday. I started off in ninth due to that inverted starting grid. There were a few cars who climbed back up who were very quick. I was getting to grips with the track in the dry conditions, so it took me a while to get into my rhythm. Then there was that big fight to finish in first place. I'd like to thank all my partners without whom I wouldn't be here today. Castellet was supposed to be my only race, so I'd like to thank them yet again for me being here.
I'm really happy about that. I was first until the last 2 laps and a good bagarre. I'm really happy. Second position in my best position last year in the third. So I'm really happy.
Danke. Super. Danke. It was a very, very good race. So the mechanics gave me a perfect car, so I can push hard. For me, it's the first time on this track, so driving in the dry with the dry conditions completely different comparing to yesterday. But yeah, I found my way more or less easy. So I can push hard, and yeah, I overtook several cars and finished on the podium. So for me, it's at the end a great weekend.
So Romain Monti finishes race 2 in first place ahead of Lino Curti and Andreas Segler. Means he leads the standings so far. 58 points ahead of second place Riccardo Ragazzi in 36.
Ainsi s'achève cette deuxième manche du Maserati.
So there finishes the second round of this Maserati Trofeo at the Red Bull Ring. In a few weeks, all the racers will jet off to the United States to Elkhart Lane in Wisconsin for the third meeting of the season. That's from the 26th to the 28th of June, available to watch here on Motors TV.